Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming along to tonight's webinar, Tips and Tricks to Make It Happen. Now, just before we kick off, I will let you know there are 3 handouts in the handout section. So we'll be able to use those along the way tonight. So tonight's webinar is Tips and Tricks to Make It Happen. So let's get started. So just a very important message to make sure that everybody understands that at the conclusion of this presentation, you'll realise how property should be included in your long-term wealth creation plans. However, it's really important that before you do make any decisions, that you do seek advice and that you do look into things and make sure that what you're doing suits your needs. So before we get started, I just want to give you a quick introduction to the Property Club, just so that you understand what it is that we do and how we can help. So who are the Property Club? We're a club of like-minded people who have found a passion of investing in property and setting up for our future. The club is a wealth of information that everybody is more than willing to share. It's a free club and everybody's happy to share their stories, their resources, and to help you along your journey. The club is paid by the sellers of property, so you don't pay a cent. And the club has years and years of experience in researching and sourcing the best properties. So you're in good hands. Why are you here? So you've all invested time to be here, so congratulations, you've taken a really positive step. The purpose of our webinars is to talk to you about your future and help point out some ways to help set yourself up for retirement, but as well as your lifestyle choices. I think the key word being choices, because you do have choices if you take action early on in life. You can make a difference to your future. You just need to want to do it and seek assistance from those that can help. And the Property Club are here to help you for free. So I'll tell you a little bit about us. So we're Justin and Jenny Watson. Obviously, I'm Jenny. Justin's looking after the little one tonight. So we are 32 and 33 years old. We both work full-time. We have an 18-month-old toddler, Olivia, who we like to call our little tornado. We joined the club back in 2009 and we became property millionaires in 2012. We became property mentors in 2016, which we did because the club had helped us so much. We felt it was time to give back and to help people along with their journey, and in understanding why it's so important to take action now to set yourself up for the future. We became Young Investors Club ambassadors in 2016, and we became the Young Investors Club presidents this year in 2018. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our investment journey, and I think it's important that you understand that Justin and I have average incomes. So what we've achieved, we haven't done on a multi-million-dollar salary. We've done it on average incomes that the average Aussie will earn. So our property portfolio, we have 5 properties. We bought our first property back in 2007, and that was in Romsey, Victoria. So that's the house we live in today. We bought for $228,000, which is now worth $500. In 2010, we bought our first club property in 8 Mile Plains in Queensland. We purchased that for $345,000 and it's now worth $420,000. In 2013, we purchased another club property in St. Mary's and we purchased that for $319,000 and it's now worth $440,000. And in 2015, we purchased another club property at $460,000, still worth $460,000. And last year we settled on another club property for $360,000. So that's just a little bit of insight to help you understand where we are and I guess what's brought us here today. So if you're new to tonight's webinar and you haven't been across our previous webinars, it's certainly worth us touching on what they have been, because it's almost been a little bit of a series to lead us up to this point. So in previous webinars over the last few months, we've talked about the importance of thinking about your retirement. Honestly, can't stress that enough. The future's in your hands. As corny and cheesy as that sounds, it's the reality. The fact that you need to look out for your retirement is no one else is going to do it for you. And the action or lack of action you take today will affect you in years to come. So those previous webinars we have recorded, so you are more than welcome to check them out on the Young Investors Club YouTube channel. It's always good to, I guess, go recap over things and to hear other ideas as well. We've talked about by waiting to take action, it's actually costing you money. And the sooner you invest in property, the sooner your property values increase. So given you're here tonight to talk about tips and tricks to make it happen, that tells me that you're all here because you want to invest in your future, which is really, really exciting to hear. It's something that I worry about for my friends and that are in my age bracket, to say, guys, we need to think about our future because super's not going to cut it. So it's really exciting to see people of our age group here tonight to get started and take action. So let's talk about the steps that we can take to make it happen. These are some ideas and some thought provokers. So there's no Bible here to say, okay, well, this is how you do it. It's all about different methods and different ways that the club can help you to get there. So keep that in mind. The first most important step to begin with is the financial wealth check. So the first step to taking action and investing in property is to understand your current financial situation. It's very hard to set goals and to move forward if you don't actually know where you are at the moment. So how can the club help? All you need to do is submit a financial wealth check form to your property mentor, and one of our club preferred brokers will assess your current financial situation at no charge. So it doesn't cost you anything. And it's basically some information to help you understand what borrowing capacity you might have, and sometimes even some tips and tricks on how to increase that capacity. Second step is to set your goals. So now that you know your current financial situation, you can actually start to plan your goals. In order to work towards where you're going, you need to have goals. Justin and I have a planning meeting every 6 months. We go out for dinner, we make it a formal occasion, and we sit down and we talk about what we want to achieve financially and personally in the next 12 months. So it's a date just between the two of us. The baby doesn't come along. It's for us to sit down and talk about what it is that we want to do and what we want to achieve. And we get a lot out of it. It's actually quite interesting. You know, Justin and I have been married for, 11 years. We've been together for 17, and it's still amazing how sometimes we both have very different ideas, and sitting down together and talking about what it is that we want to achieve helps us to get on the same page so that we can set those goals. In the handout section, there is a handy form that you can use to help set your goals. If you want to go to that extreme, Justin and I are extreme goal setters. But by all means, you're welcome to use that handout if you wish. The third step is to budget. So now you know your financial situation, you've set your goals, so now you need to work out what it's going to take and what you need to do. Last year we did a budgeting webinar, so I mentioned that we're extreme goal setters. When it comes to budgeting, it's on a whole new level. So there's Excel spreadsheets, there's formulas, there's all those sorts of things. So You can check out our budgeting webinar on YouTube, and the link to that webinar is available in the handout section. So let's talk about tips to making it happen in terms of getting your deposit together. So what we've just talked about is about getting started, knowing what you want, knowing where you need to go. But now you've actually got to get your deposit together to purchase your first property. So aside from the obvious, saving your money, there's some other things that we can have a think about. So the first homeowners grant, if you're willing to make some sacrifices, you can take advantage of the first homeowners grant, even though you're purchasing to invest. If you purchase in your state and move into the property for the required time frame, you could receive the first homeowners grant. Once you've fulfilled the requirement, you can move out and rent the property with someone else paying your mortgage. So in this scenario, there may be some sacrifices that you need to make in terms of moving to an area that you wouldn't necessarily normally live in order to make use of that first homeowners grant. Each state's first homeowners grant and requirements is different, but if you have a chat to your property mentor, they'll be able to give you a bit more information and point you in the right direction. What if it's too expensive in your state? So, let's think about Sydney, for instance. You may not be able to purchase in your state as a first home buyer due to the cost to get into the market. If that's the case, think about investing into state and foregoing the first homeowners grant in order to get into the market and start your property equity growth. So purchasing interstate could seem quite daunting, but the club can take the hassle out of purchasing interstate for you because we have researchers looking into the areas in detail. So this is one of my favourite things about the club because I'm very much a set and forget person. So I just want a clean list of what the property is, what the benefits are, what the risks are, and I want to make a simple decision based on that. So our researchers certainly put some detail into that for us. Engaging with a club preferred conveyancer solicitor in the state. So you don't need to worry about going out and sourcing your own conveyancers or solicitors. Of course, you're welcome to, but the club have some club preferred with tons and tons of experience that we've worked with for a long time who we engage to assist our members if they wish. Providing full property profiles with an abundance of information on the property and location. So rather than you having to research the actual area that you're looking at buying interstate, the researcher will give you so much information in terms of what schools are about, what the public transport's like, any risks in the area, rental appraisals, like I said, an abundance of information. And the club will even reimburse travel expenses for club members who travel to see the property and who are eligible for that reimbursement. So that's a really important one for you to have a chat to your property mentor about. Justin and I have a little bit of a joke every now and then because you saw our property list and there's 1 or 2 properties on that list that I still haven't seen. I actually saw our St. Mary's property for the first time last weekend, and we've had that for 5 years. That's how much faith I have in the information that the club give me, that I'm more than happy to purchase interstate without actually seeing it. But of course, I do have that option to see it if I want to. So keep an eye on the property clock. So what is the property clock? Heron Todd White provide a monthly property clock which your property mentor can help you to locate. This clock tells you when cities are at their peak in price, declining, at their lowest, and can assist you in identifying when a city is likely at its cheapest. So this is really helpful when you're getting your deposit together because it could mean the difference in thousands if you look at purchasing in a city that might be on the lower end of the market at that point in time. So remember to have a chat to your property mentor about the property clock. It's a great source of information. Now, I'm sure we've all heard of the Bank of Mum and Dad. For some, they're lucky enough that mum and dad can support their entry into the property market. Not everybody has that benefit. Justin and I certainly didn't. But it doesn't necessarily have to be financial support. They may be in a position that they can assist as a guarantor. So you can have a chat to our club brokers to understand what that might look like and how a guarantor might work. And have a chat to your mum and dad to see how they might be able to assist as well. So let's talk about some more club assistance to help you get started. So we do have club clauses. So when negotiating great deals for you, the club will always try to negotiate the club clauses into the contract to benefit you. It can help you get started sooner as it helps to reduce your risk of things going wrong. So things such as the ability to exit the contract if you can't get finance and extra security when it comes to valuations not coming in as expected. Purchasing your first property can be a daunting task, but having these extra security measures can certainly make the world of difference in, making you feel more comfortable about the process. Negotiated deals. So our researchers work so very hard to try to negotiate the best deals for our members. So when you are looking for properties with the club and when you're chatting to your property mentor about different properties, in order to help you get into the market sooner, look out for properties that offer cashbacks. Our very first club property that we purchased in 8 Mile Plains came with a $15,000 cashback. And I think when we were waiting to settle, I kept saying to myself, well, that can't be true. That's too good to be true. Needless to say, we got a $15,000 cashback, which was obviously really, really helpful at the time. So have a look for those sorts of benefits. Free appliance and finishing packages that make it quick and easy for your tenants to move in and less expensive for you to have to go out and purchase those things to make it comfortable for your tenants. Look out for rental guarantees or top-ups. So some of our developers will give rental guarantees that provide you with rent if you have trouble renting it out. And even have a look for some of those properties that might have body corporate coverage as well. But if, like I said, if you chat to your property mentor, they'll be able to talk to you about possible properties that offer great deals. Our cash analysis program. So your property mentor will run a CAP, so cash analysis program, for you to assist in understanding just how much your property is likely to cost. So we can estimate and we can budget till the cows come home, but our cash analysis program is really good at preparing you for your purchase and to help you see if you can afford it after taking into account things like tax breaks, rental income and running costs. So this is an absolute must when you purchase a property. It's so very, very helpful and it gives you a really, really good guide, making you feel more comfortable when you are making your purchase. Most importantly, so my favorite tip is don't talk yourself out of it. So one of the most common things we've identified when assisting people in building their property portfolio is looking for things wrong with the property not to buy it. The key things to remember are why you wanted to build a portfolio in the first place. Your purchase is for investment, not your dream home. So you almost have to look at it like a business. And we often talk to members who might be thinking, oh, but the property doesn't have this, and I think that it should have this, or, but what about this? And the reality is that's ideal for you, but you need to think of it in terms of what does my tenant want? And the longer you wait, the longer before your property increases in value and the stronger likelihood that the property will cost you more to purchase. So again, I come back to the point of by taking action sooner, it's not going to cost you as much money. So don't talk yourself out of it. Why did we take action when we did? So we took action when we did because we want financial freedom now and into the future. The best time to start is ASAP while you still have working life ahead of you. Property takes time to make money. It's not an overnight quick fix of extra income, but it does take time to make money. If we waited and we didn't start until now, it would have cost us nearly $600,000. So $468K in property growth plus $120 that we've got back in tax simply because we've got the investment properties working for us. And we still have another 20 to 30 years of work. So that's just going to increase for us. So words of wisdom for tonight, talk to your property mentor to get started. They've all been there, they've all done it, and they will have different tips, different ideas, and use the club resources to your advantage. They're free, and there's so much experience behind it. So we've got some upcoming Young Investors Club Property Club events. So we recently held our Sydney YIC Masterclass, which was fun, and we had some great feedback. So our Vic YIC Masterclass is on August the 18th, so it's just around the corner, talking about retirement, finance, expectations versus reality, plus so much more. It's an interactive day, so don't think that it's just us standing there lecturing at you. It's a very interactive day, yeah, much fun was had. Plus, we'll be having a drink afterwards. So our next webinar will be on September the 4th. And that's about selecting your club, your property with the club. So looking at different things that your tenant might need, and looking at, I guess, the different things that make one property stronger over the other. You can register for these events now, and in the handout section, you'll see a handout to the link so that you can register for these events. So guys, again, words of wisdom, let's get started. Talk to your property mentor. So glad that you came along tonight, and that you're making and that you're taking first steps to taking action. Thanks, guys.